Yo.
I recently visited Sydney, and let's give you a complete tour of all the tourist places that I visited during my trip. The first place I visited is the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which is one of the most iconic landmarks of Sydney. If you want, you can also book a tour of the entire bridge and actually climb on it. The entire view looks spectacular on a sunny day, and it's really gorgeous. Just beside the Harbour Bridge is another landmark of Sydney, which is the Sydney Opera House. This is basically a place where events, arts, and festivals are conducted. People all over the world visit this iconic landmark because of its architectural beauty. If you want to know more about this place, you can actually book a guided tour, and it's going to be very knowledgeable and informational for you. Just adjacent to the Opera House is the Royal Botanical Garden of Sydney. It's absolutely free of cost to enter the garden and is really beautiful. This is the oldest botanical garden of Sydney and overlooks the Sydney Harbour. It feels like it's an oasis of nature in the middle of concrete jungle and is really beautiful. Next up is the Australian Museum, which is the oldest museum in Australia and the fifth oldest in the entire world. The entry to the museum is absolutely free, and you can walk in anytime between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you want to know about Australia's entire history, then highly recommend that you visit this museum. Just outside the museum, after walking for a few meters, you can visit St. Mary's Cathedral, yet another place with a stunning architecture. After visiting the cathedral, you can walk along the same path and reach Hyde Park. It's very well maintained and clean and is in the middle of the central district of Sydney. Next up is the Chinese Garden of Friendship. It's modeled after the classic private gardens of the Ming Dynasty, and it's incredible how beautifully the Chinese culture and heritage is displayed throughout the garden. This place has an entry fee, but it's absolutely worth visiting. This library is the oldest library of Australia. It's the oldest public library which is absolutely free of cost, and I love how well maintained this is. I managed to take a few clips inside of the library, so here it is. Queen Victoria Building is a shopping center which is basically a 5-level mall, but it's one of the most iconic landmarks of Sydney. If you like knowing more about contemporary art, then definitely visit the Museum of Contemporary Art in Sydney. It's quite unique in the sense where artist collections and their entire journey have been displayed very well. Blue Mountains is only a couple of hours away from the city of Sydney, and you can easily take a train to reach here. Sydney is also famous for one of its many beaches, but if you want to enjoy a beautiful ferry ride along the harbour, then definitely visit the Manly Beach. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching.